Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Reveal and Heal Live. I'm Coach Debb. We are here today to talk about survivors of domestic violence, sexual abuse, all the things abuse. Today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is MsNique. She is a survivor. She is an influencer. She's an author of many books. Today she's going to share her story. Prepare the tissue. Prepare to share with your friends and your family. Let them know about Reveal and Heal Live and the story that you're going to hear today to remind you that God is faithful. Welcome, MsNique.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you on the healing platform
Yes, ma'am.
today.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm excited to hear your story. You know, you are a sister to me for real because I'm a survivor. I'm an overcomer. And it's just a beautiful thing to share, you know. People need to understand that we are here because of the grace of God.
That's right.
I want you to start with your story from the beginning.
How much time we got over here, Coach
Well, let's
Debb?
kind of break it down, you know, summer things up. I tell you what, because you know I made mention that you have several books. And one in particular is If My Past Wasn't So Dark, My Future Wouldn't Shine So Bright. Let's start right there because that's the beginning, right?
It is.
Okay.
All right. So basically, my book starts. It's my memoir. Again, as you said, if my past wasn't so dark, my future wouldn't shine so bright. And it really encompasses my life. It starts from the day I was born, but it really takes off at the age of 8 years old. So from 8 to 16, I very matter-of-factly talk about the experiences that I had. One of the very first harrowing experiences I had was being molested at 8 years old by my mother's boyfriend, who was also my sibling's father. So I start talking about, I start the book off light, talk about my young parents, because they were 18, they were married, they didn't know what they was doing. My dad was in the military. Like when I was born, my dad was in basic training. He tells me this story all the time. He was so excited. He got the call in the middle of the night that my mother had went into labor. And after he got off the phone, with my mom and they, announced that I was born, they made him like do push-ups in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like trying to break them. I guess that's what they do, especially in the 80s, in the military or whatever. So those are the memories I have, memories that were told to me more or less, I grew up in a home where I did have both my parents. I had my mother and my father at a time. I remember when my mother was a good mother. I mean, a really good mother. I mean, gentle. I remember when she used to love on us. When I say us, at the time it was just myself and my sister right under me. Ultimately, it's 4 of us, but it started out with just myself. I'm the oldest, and then my sister under me. And my mom was real gentle, My sister under me had a speech impediment. So she couldn't speak very well at all. Like nobody understood what she said. I was a translator. So when Lyric said that, I was like, oh my God, that was my life. I was my sister's translator. So she stuck to me like glue because I was the only one that understood what she was saying. And so moving on, I think it's important to give you just that little bit of,
the intro.
Yes, because it wasn't always bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It started out decent,
right,
normal,
right.
But then it turned into me. I realized my dad wasn't coming home. He would go to work and then he wouldn't come home for, I don't know, I'm a kid, a long time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that means, 2 days, 3 days, a week, I don't know. Yeah. And then I would hear my mom like talking to him on the phone, arguing with him. My mom would be crying when she get off the phone. I would hear her yelling, just come home, and stuff like that. And so ultimately my father was out there being free with the streets, okay, and free with other women while he had his wife and 2 daughters at home. So that's why he wasn't coming home, because he was out there running the streets. And so ultimately my mom ended up just getting tired, you know. You just getting tired. She was a single mother anyway. He wasn't coming home. You know, he was working, but he wasn't bringing the money home. He was, you know, spending it, doing whatever he was doing. So they broke up, and my mom, she didn't date nobody for a while, you know, and stuff like that. And the guy that she did ultimately start dating, she did all the right stuff. Man, Coach Debb, she did all the right stuff. She didn't bring him home. You know, she let him court her. All that. She did all of that stuff. And I'm telling you, I know everything that was going on with my mother because I became my mother's best friend. When she was with my father, he didn't allow her to do nothing. He didn't allow her to have friends. She couldn't go nowhere. He was very narcissistic. Like, she couldn't do nothing. And like, so I was her best friend. When she wanted to tell somebody something, it was me. So I knew my mother's deepest, darkest secrets because I was the only one she had to confide in. And so when she met this man, he did all the right stuff. You know, she didn't like him. She didn't like him at first, but he continued to pursue her. And, you know, and
so he wooed her.
He definitely did. He definitely did. And my mom, she asked me my opinion, what you think I should do, Nikki? You know, and I'm like, well, Ma, go out with him, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, I feel like I need to tell you this. Because she was with my father, who did not allow her to do anything. Now, this man is controlling the house, even though he's not in it. Not allowed to do anything. When my mother separated from my father, my mother started getting her nails done. My mom started getting her hair done. My mother started walking in her beauty. I saw my mama for the first time smile, you know, put on makeup, even though she didn't know what she was doing. So it did look kind of clownish, but it didn't matter. I saw her, you know, like just come alive in a way I never seen her come alive before. So it felt good to me because I see my mama happy, you know, like, you know, she happy.
And I see that glow, you know, when you talk about, you know, the peace that your mom found when your dad moved on. But I want you to just kind of hold that thought because when we come back from the break, I want you to talk about what it is that you witnessed that you felt led to the abuse that you experienced. Okay?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We will be right back.
What do you mean, Noseph? I'm tired of your shit. I just want to go lay down.
Nah, I ain't trying to hear none of that.
What you mean you ain't trying to
Go back
hear
where you been.
Go back and lay where you
What
were.
the hell you I was here? God,
You
now
been
let
the
me
last
up in here.
I can't keep being hurt.
Get your sister. I'm tired of your sister. She's driving me nuts.
Where's Lily? Lily, where your at?
But damn what they do.
We tough. We built tough. We survivors. We gonna always be all right.
You gonna do all this to bring your kids back?
With my man. I know exactly who the hell you is. Come here. You ain't person, girl.
I want to be tired. I just want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. Nah, you gotta chill.
Y'all, it's your queen, MsNique, also known as MsNique Revamp. And baby, let me invite you to Hot Kitchen ATL. Let me tell you, I don't care if you are a cook, if you are a chef, if you only cook for the kids, if you cook only for the daycare, or if you're a classically trained chef. Maybe you're the family's best kept secret. I need you in Hot Kitchen ATL on my show, Cooking in My Kitchen. Details below.
And we're back to another episode of Reveal and Heal. Live TV, I'm Coach Debb, and to my right, depending on where you're sitting, I have MsNique with me. Yeah. You know what, we were talking about your mom when we went on break, and I was just telling you how you just glow when you talk about your mom, like she is your best friend, you know. And I perceive, and you can let me know if this is the truth, you like a crutch for your mom, like, you know, you carried her a little bit, you know, when she went through what she went through with your dad leaving, you know, you comforted her and you kept her up, right?
Yeah.
Well, how was that a benefit for you though? You were a child.
It wasn't no benefit. There was no benefit for me. The only thing I can see as a benefit was just seeing my mother happy and in a space that I had never seen her in. That would be the benefit. And it's crazy that you asked me that question, because now, literally in this moment, I feel like something is happening where I'm understanding that started me being okay with accepting other people's happiness over my own. That's where that came from.
It's always a seed, sis. It's always a seed, and it can be so small, like the grain of a mustard seed, to where you don't even realize it or recognize it. You know, just to talk a little bit about Miss Lyric, which she's going to be coming on the stage soon, and witnessing and listening to her testimonial. Right. I was just feeling and listening to her that, you know, you don't understand where you are in your healing,
right,
until you hear another man's story. And you understand, God, you still working on me.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
Listen, first of all, I just want to clear this up for any and everybody. There is no healed. It's always healing. It's always plural. It's always ongoing. It's never ending. You're always healing. You've never healed. Okay? That's just like saying you've pained. No, you're in pain. You're paining. You never mourned. Mourned means there's an end. If you've ever lost anyone, your mourning is what you do.
That's no timetable.
Yes, it's the same. So,
oh, that's powerful.
So that's the thing that I want people to really get from. No matter where this interview goes, I want people to really truly understand that it is a healing journey, and it is one that is ever continuous and it's always changing. Listen, we ain't never but one trigger away from having to start the healing journey all over again. So it can never be healed. So,
Wow.
when you ask me where I am on my healing journey,
On your healing journey.
I'm still healing. See, what's happening now is that I'm healing through other people.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So our healing transforms. It doesn't just transform us, it transforms others. So I may have enough healing for myself that I can now aid someone else into their healing journey.
Now look, you said something, because I'm a firm believer that no matter where you are on your healing journey, keep healing.
Oh, yeah.
And you do that by helping other people.
That's right. It's not a selfish thing.
We done got away from some stuff, because that right there, that really that helps me, because we can't sit out on this thing.
Right.
We can't ever sit down on this thing and feel sorry for ourselves. So let's just go ahead and get back, and let's talk a little bit about your story. Let's talk a little bit about, what took place with, your abuse, right? And what you're doing to change, to help other people, to help on your healing journey as you continue to heal.
Yes.
Let's go there.
Right. No problem. So I was talking about how my mom, pretty much found herself.
Right.
And, she didn't like the guy, but he was courting her. And I was just like, Mom, give him a try, whatever. And so she did. She started allowing him to take her out on dates and things like that. And so she did everything right. She did. She dated him for a couple of months. She finally came home. She asked me and my sister, like, hey, he wants to meet y'all. Do you want to meet him? He wants to come to dinner. And so, now mind you, I'm from Chicago, the far south side, in the ghetto. Who says that they want to come to dinner? Like, that's something like I just feel like you see on TV, you know what I'm saying? But that's exactly what
It was impressive.
It was impressive, you know what I'm saying? My mom, he wanted to cook for my mom. My mom offered to cook for him and have him over for dinner.
And he was
to
to formally meet y'all.
Right, exactly. To formally meet, because we never seen him before ever. He's picked her up, all that stuff, but outside she never. So, like I said, in my opinion, she did it right. So anyway, he comes to dinner, and you have to understand that when we lived in our apartment, our townhouse, a row house or whatever you want to call it, we didn't have like nice furniture and stuff like that. We had furniture, but it wasn't like nothing brand new. It was like, I think it was my grandmother's old furniture or something like that. So, house was always clean, but we didn't have, new furniture. So when he came, he had dinner with us and stuff, and they sat in the living room. He sat on our couch and, was just basically asking us all, how are y'all doing, what you like, stuff like that. Really talking to me because, like I said, my sister don't really talk much because she couldn't speak very well. So my mom asked us at the end of the night, like, do y'all like him? And I was like, yeah, I think he's cool. And my sister, in her way, said she liked him too or whatever. And then that began their courtship. That began when they started.
Because y'all gave her y'all approval.
We gave her the green light. The worst decision I could have ever made in my life.
Tell us about it.
This man, he was amazing. He was amazing. I want to say within weeks, this man was moved into our home. Our home was transformed. He had beautiful velvet furniture. He moved his furniture in. So now our house looks decked out. I mean, beautiful, gorgeous. He did all of these things, right? He worked every day, everything. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed. I just know that one day I came home, and I can't tell you like how long after, but I just know one day I came home from school and my bed was in the pantry. Now my bed that was in the bedroom that I shared with my baby sister, right, was now in the pantry, which is right by the back door. So, and when I asked why is my bed in the pantry, I was told, well, you always said you wanted your own room, but not the pantry. But that was the explanation I was giving. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why, 2 reasons I didn't like sleeping in the room with my sister. 1, she snored. 2, she peed in the bed. And even though we didn't share the same bed, she would climb in my bed and pee on me. Right. So that's why I complained about wanting my own room. You know what I'm saying? But it was never like something I just walked around talking about all the time. I think I maybe even said it maybe once, probably twice. But all I know is like a genie, my bed was in the pantry. I can't tell you if it was 2 days later or a week later or a month later. But all I know is very shortly after that, one night I'm getting ready to go upstairs because we only have one bathroom and it's at the top of the stairs. So I have to use the restroom. And it's middle of the night. I'm getting up to go to the bathroom and this man is standing at the top of the stairs as I'm coming up the stairs. And he's very, very, very dark. And it's pitch black, you know, nothing but the glow of the bathroom light. And I remember I got up to maybe the second step as I'm going up. And the man is standing there at the top of the steps with his robe on, a maroon robe. He opened his robe and revealed himself to me. I walked right back down them stairs and climbed back in my bed and I clung to them blankets like never before. I never tried to go upstairs no more. I peed in the sink every time I had to pee. That was when it started.
That was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
A wolf in sheep clothing.
Yep. That was the beginning. He revealed himself to me. And then again, I don't, you know, this happened so long ago as far as perception of time. I'm not sure when, you know, like, you know, the actual, he finally decided, but I can tell you that my mother was pregnant and she was upstairs in her bedroom when he attempted to do what he was doing to me. My mother was in the house. I have to tell you this for context. At this point, my mom is no longer my mom. She is not at all recognizable to the woman that she was prior to meeting this man, okay? Not at all. We don't ever hardly see my mother at this point.
Is she still with him?
Yeah. No, this is what I'm saying. Like, she's in the house, but we don't see her. I'm taking care of the house. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing everything. My mom is upstairs in her bedroom. I rarely get to see her. Now she's pregnant with their first baby, and I don't get to see her. He keeps their door closed. Now there's bars on the window. Now there's a padlock on their door, which I've always been able to go into my mom's room, you know, freely, you know, and just grab snacks or whatever, you know what I'm saying? All of that stopped. All of that stopped. Everything that I was used to had stopped. And so my mother was becoming like this real angry person. You know what I'm saying? Like just real angry. And I was just like, whoa. You know, I didn't know this woman. And so, you know, she, the night that he, you know, came down there and tried to, you know, touch me, yeah.
I think we need a break.
Okay.
And give you a chance to gather yourself. And girl, let me gather myself. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss this story. We're going to all take a break right now. You go get some water, go use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do, but this is a breathing moment for us all. I'm Coach Debb. We'll be right back.
Baby, listen, you never let a man put his hands on you. Do you hear me, baby?
Yeah.
Do you hear me? You gotta get them before they get you.
I'm gonna keep my eye on him, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch him.
Definitely keep your eye on him, honey. You better get him before he gets you.
Yeah.
I was thinking go card and stole my idea.
phone down. Can you put your phone down? Oh my God! Why do you keep picking up your phone? I'm sorry. What the hell? Is he crazy? We just went through this. Oh, really? Leave me upstairs by myself to answer the phone? No. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And you just gonna walk away? You just gonna walk away from me? If I can't have you, nobody can.
And we're back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming back. You know, we left, at a time where we needed a breather. So I want you to stay tuned and stay focused because MsNique is about to conclude her story with your stepdad.
He's not my stepdad.
Okay.
That requires marriage. And
Oh,
that
they never got
didn't.
married?
No, ma'am.
Come on, girl. Share the story.
He ain't my daddy. So I'm make that clear. My daddy, he wasn't great, but he wasn't that either.
Well, you know what? Look, noted.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how some people...
Of course, no shade to you.
No shade.
Yes,
taken. It's just that most times, when they move in, you know how the moms even sometimes have the kid, depending on how young they are, to say this is your new dad or whatever the case may be. Or, But how old were you? You never said, how old were you when he moved in?
I was 8 years old. Yeah.
So you were 8
Yeah.
when you went up the stairs for the first time and he exposed himself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, in my mind, I see myself rolling backwards.
I did. I rolled backwards and went back to my room, the pantry, and I jumped up under them. I was petrified because I was scared. I thought, is he finna come in here with me now? You know what I'm saying?
Because you said you cling to the blanket.
I sure did.
You didn't know what he was going to do.
No, ma'am, I did not. I did not know. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't. I had no idea.
What was the following day like? After that happened, what was it like getting up the next morning?
Again, there's only so much of the trauma that I completely remember.
Right.
Again, I do know that my mom just was not existent. She was in the home, but she was not around. She wasn't around. I don't know. I don't remember what happened, but I know I never said anything. I know that. So, and so the next memory that I have, having put other things into context, how my mom was in the home, she was pregnant, she was mean as ever. I don't know what was going on with her. She just wasn't at all that loving, funny, mom. She wasn't that.
She wasn't
at all.
your girlfriend anymore.
Oh man, this woman transformed, honey. She was not at all that woman anymore. And so he came downstairs one day, and I like I said, I know my mom was upstairs in her room, and she was probably sleeping, because that's every time I was like, where's my mother? She sleep. That was always his answer, because my mother, I wasn't seeing her. I lived in the house with a woman that I never saw no more.
Well, did he work?
He did, occasionally, I guess, whatever he was doing.
So you never got a chance to try to see her before he came in from work?
So, remember how I told you that when he came, bars went on the window, padlock, the padlock had gone on their door and stuff like that? Like, my mother no longer had an open door policy. So it wasn't no going in her room just to see how she doing. You know what I mean? It wasn't none of that anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
I didn't know,
and you were a kid,
I'm
so.
8.
Yeah.
I just know my life ain't what it used to be. So, I'm just rolling with the punches. But he, so the day he decided that he was gonna do whatever. You know, he had came down to I was in my bedroom, the pantry, and I was playing with my baby dolls. And I remember I had on I want to say it was a Care Bears nightgown. And yeah, he sat on my bed and just was like small talk, you know, just small talk.
Okay. Let me.
But
tell you.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes. And you, I see discomfort now.
Yeah.
We're gonna take another break. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna come back, and you can tell the story.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
I went to, so there's two elementary schools right across the street from our house in Block 7. But when I started, you know, kindergarten, I started when we lived with my grandmother in Block 3. So I went to Aldridge Elementary School. Now, Aldridge is in Block 3. So that means that I have to pass my grandma's house every single day to go to school. Understand context, right? Every day I got to pass grandma's house to go to school. Every day. I'm a grandmama's baby. You know what I'm saying? So every day I got to go past. It used to be no problem, you know what I'm saying, for me to stop by grandma's house if I had time when I'm on my way to school or when I come home from school. All of a sudden, my grandmother and my mother get into it, you know, or actually is my grandmother don't like dude. I don't know why. I don't know what the falling out was about or whatever the case may be, but now I can't go to my grandmother's house anymore. So it gets to a point now, I'm 8, 9 years old, you know what I'm saying? So this is what I used to be able to do, now I can't do this no more. So one day, I'm going to school, and my grandmother, she can see me out her blinds, you know, and so she, you know, she calling my name. Imagine hearing your grandmother, your favorite person in the whole world, Monique, you know, and I gotta walk past my grandmother like I don't know her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm told if I stop, I'm gonna get my, you know what, beat, you know what I'm saying? So now, this was something that I really wish I would have made sure I pointed out in the interview. I grew up in what goes on in this house stays in this house. That was a rule he put in place. I never heard that before he moved in our house. I never heard that before. So listen to the level of manipulation. I never heard that before until he moved in our house. What goes on in our house, stay in this house. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell nobody what go on in this house. That was a rule he put in place that he enforced through my mother. Okay? So, grandma calling my name, I gotta go, I gotta keep going. I go to school. I get out of school, I gotta come back past grandma's house. Grandma standing on the porch. Nikki, come here, baby. And I'm telling her, so the first time she do it, I go over there, I go see what she want because, I know they said I was gonna get in trouble, but, whatever. So the first time I actually go over there, I don't remember what, she asked me a couple questions or whatever. She didn't keep me very long. And then, I left and went. My mother knew that I stopped. My mother knew that I stopped at my grandmother's house. I don't know if it's because my grandmother, called my mom and cussed her out. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any of the backstory as to how my mother knew or whatever, but my mother knew. So when I got home, my mother beat me because he told her to. He told her to. You told her not to go nowhere. Now she over there running her mouth to your mama. This man literally handed my mama the belt and told her when to hit me as he's asking me questions. That was the first whooping I ever got from my mother. A pure beating at the hands of this man. He orchestrated it. He directed it, produced it. Okay?
Was that before the sexual abuse?
This was after. So, but I hadn't said anything. You understand what I'm saying? So I still haven't told nobody. Now, you just said something that just blew my mind open. Now I know why he turned her against me. Because he was afraid I was going to say something. That's why he stopped me from going over my grandmama's house. It never made no sense until right now. I never understood why I wasn't allowed to go to my grandmother's house. I just felt this was part of his manipulation and keeping her isolated from everybody because that's what he was doing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? But now I know. He didn't want me to tell my grandma. That's why. So, needless to say,
you just had an aha moment.
I sure did, and I'm sweating because I'm pissed.
And a breakthrough.
It has never dawned on me until right now. That's the reason why I was not allowed to go over to my grandmother's house anymore. That's why. Because they know I'm going to tell my grandma because I'm comfortable with my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? They know I'm going to tell my grandma. Well, joke's on his ass because I told her anyway. But not then. Not then. It still didn't, because they kept me away from her. So after getting that beating, I imagine that kid never getting a whooping before. And all of a sudden, I'm getting whooped this big old belt. And this man is telling her, hit her again, she lying. Hit her again, she lying. I swear. And I'm just saying, okay. So what do I do with that? I go upstairs. But then, I gotta go back downstairs because my bedroom is in the pantry. Like, what do I do with that? So, anyway, one day, I go to school. And that was when the DARE program, had started. I don't know if you guys had DARE. Okay, perfect. So that was when the DARE program started. One of the officers came to the school and wanted to talk to us about stranger danger. First time anybody had a conversation with me about good touch, bad touch. It was the dear person that came, stranger danger. So she was talking about good touch, bad touch, and literally said, most children are assaulted by somebody they know, either a family member or a family friend. And when they said that, I sunk in that seat and cried because I knew what I knew. You know what I'm saying? Well, that day, I was supposed to, this was actually something I already orchestrated. I was supposed to go get my hair washed by my grandmother. So I made it in my mind, I'm going to tell grandma. I'm going to tell grandma what happened. So they had me at my auntie's house, who also lived in Block 3, but she lived across the parking lot from my grandmother. So that's where I was. And my grandmother was washing my hair. And I just told her, I said, Mama, I said, I got something to tell you. She was like, go on and tell me, baby. I'm like, no, this private. I want to tell you about yourself. because my cousins, you know, were kind of like running around and, you know. And so she was like, can your auntie come in the room? No. I just want to tell you. I don't want to tell nobody else. And so we went upstairs, and they convinced me to let my aunt come in the room, and I told my grandmother what happened. And my grandmother said, I effing knew it. That's the first thing came out her mouth was, I knew it. And then she went downstairs, and she called my mother. She called my mother. She called my mama's name. She said, I need you to listen to your daughter. And then my grandmother, now I was petrified. I'm like, oh my, whoa. And I kept telling my grandma, she not gonna believe me, she not gonna believe me, she not gonna believe me. And I got on that phone, and my grandmother said, you gotta tell her, Nikki, you gotta tell her. So I got on the phone, and my grandmother said, all I need you to do is listen. And so I told my mother what happened. He was sitting right next to her. First thing she said was, you a lying bitch, you must have wanted it. I'm 9. My mom never talked to me like that before.
Your best friend.
My best friend. Never talked to me like that before, ever. Other than that whooping that he orchestrated, I never even got a whooping before. So imagine somebody who used to love you to death, used to be your best friend, your confidant, the one who, you know, told you everything, all her secrets, to now being somebody that I don't even get to see in the house. You know what I'm saying? And now she beating on me. You know what I'm saying? Now she on the phone telling me that I'm a whore and I wanted it and I was lying. She accused me because he is telling her this stuff. She accused me of saying those things because he didn't give me pizza like the night before some shit. I made up this whole grand story because he didn't give me pizza the night before. I'm like, are you kidding me? You really think I'm about to... First of all, this been happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm just now saying something. This been happened. What you mean? You know, like, it's unfathomable to you know, but when you now, you know, hindsight, of course, now being an adult, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you in that trance of lust, because it wasn't love, when you in that trance of lust and then you're being manipulated by a master manipulator, your brain already vulnerable, so you already, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot going on. And so my grandmother didn't let me go home that night. My grandmother got on the phone, cussed her clean out. They was arguing like it was nobody's business. Like, she just could not believe it. She could not believe it. And so I'm going to wrap it up by telling y'all this. Eventually, I had to go home, right? And, you know, whatever. People pretended like everything was good or whatever. He was still there. He was still there. He was still in the house. I watched this man beat his own child out of my mother. She miscarried in our living room on the floor because he beat that baby out of her. Okay? I watched this man put my mother through hell. I watched it. I watched this man burn my mother's welfare check because she wouldn't give it to him so he could buy himself a car. I watched this man do all kinds of horrific shit to my mother. I watched him do all these things to her. I watched it. I was there. I seen him beat her with an iron hanger. I watched it. I was there. So the very first person that was her friend, the confidant, she made me her enemy. Now, I watched her go through all these things. And to this day, my mother has hate in her heart for me. I'm the one that was there for everything. I saw it all, everything. You hear me? It's seared in my spirit. It is part of what influences me to get out here and share my story and continue to try to help people heal and keep healing because I watched this. I saw this with my own eyes, not borrowed eyes, not through borrowed lenses. These were direct eyes. These were my eyes, and I remember every bit of it. I remember this. Yeah. She doesn't. It appears that her love for this animal, this maniac, this detriment is greater than the child that she gave birth to. That in itself is enough to keep you on your healing journey, because see, you got to keep remembering that even though she pissing you off, and even though he ain't where he's supposed to be, and even though they're not there to protect you, but that they are human, and that humans are vulnerable, and humans are imperfect, and humans are, you know, these beings that we have to give grace to, right? Because it's all about timing, and it's all about levels, and it's all about experiences, and it's all about if you going on your journey. You see what I'm saying? Because if you refuse to go on your healing journey, then you're going to continue to be stuck and stagnant where you are, while I prosper on mine. So now things to me are starting to come clearer, right? So now, yes, you did all these things to me, but my healing journey shows me, in fact, that, honey, you're a victim too.
There you go.
You're a victim too. You are a victim because your mother didn't believe you when you told her. Her mama wasn't around to believe her when she told her. Her father molested her. You understand what I'm saying? These generational curses, all of this stuff is it's poison. And I refuse. My healing journey is because I refuse to be like them. I refuse to keep this going. I refuse to keep walking in the same path that everybody else is. I'm going the other way. It's got to be something better.
Well, it's forgiveness.
That part. Forgiveness is everything.
That's your motivator.
It is, absolutely.
That's your motive. You can by you doing this, by you sharing, by you writing, by you loving people you don't even know, but yet your stories are compatible. It's the forgiveness of it all.
Yeah.
And your mom's a victim.
Yes, she is.
Your mom is bound in trauma. Your mom has selective memory.
Yes, real selective.
So you can have selective hearing, you can have selective memory.
Yeah.
And when you have selective memory, guess what that does? It protects you.
Yes. And this is the thing that going on this healing journey, that's why I don't care what I say, how many stories, because I got a lot of them. I've literally been victimized lots of times. But the one thing I like to always say, I always tell everybody that forgiveness is the key. That's for a fact, absolutely. But this is the thing. You can keep going through all of the stuff that you want to go through, as you stated in your ending. You know, if you're not willing to give it a name, if you're not willing to give it a sound, if you're not willing to give it a feeling, if you want to continue to ignore and act as though these things don't exist, like this stuff did never happen, then baby, you ain't never gonna get on that healing journey.
You're just existing though.
Yeah,
you're just existing.
You're not living.
And you're on the what?
You're on the spiral if you ask me. But here's the thing.
It's just like going through the wilderness.
You going in circles. But it's a circle with a cycle that goes nowhere.
And it's no healing there.
There is no healing. But so many people are so afraid of the other side of healing. Listen, as I sit here before you guys, I am a suicide survivor. Come on. By the time I was 21, I had 2 nervous breakdowns and I had kids. You can't tell me what God won't do.
Come on.
You can't tell me what God won't do. I'm not religious on no level, but baby, my spiritual connection is so strong that I know I didn't do this by myself. Man tore me down. Man took advantage of me. Man misused me.
But God restored
Man abused me. But God and the God in me, it gave me enough fire and enough anger and enough rage to be like, you know what? I know this ain't why I'm here. I know there's got to be something else. That and the fact that the voice told me when I woke up in that hospital bed after my suicide attempt at 16, that voice said, it ain't your time yet. And then after I cussed the voice out, it said, you haven't served your purpose yet. So now, purpose is a word I hadn't heard before when it came to being a person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that day, in that hospital, where I was left orphaned again, I was by myself again. Back to the system I go. I said, I gotta find my purpose so I can be done with this, because I'm tired.
And now you're walking in it. God ain't through yet, girl.
Oh, I know. But that power, there's so much power, y'all. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care whatever you've experienced. When I say I can vouch, I'm talking about he opened the door for other men in the family to then have their way with me and tell me the reason they was doing it was because they knew he had already done it. What? Huh? What? Oh yeah. Imagine that. Imagine somebody doing something to you and telling you that they did it because they knew so-and-so had already done something.
But it's always a cycle, though.
But to me, and I held those female family members accountable, they didn't even know it. They didn't even know that I held a level of hate in my heart for them because these were their boyfriends. And the only reason why they did what they did was because they pillow talking about what went on in my mama's house to me. Because of that pillow talk, so be careful what you telling these dudes y'all sitting up with. Be careful what you telling these women you sitting up with. Because they might use that against you. And not in the good way. Maybe not even directly to you, but I know firsthand. Because it was said to me, just like that man who touched me for the first time and told me he was doing it because a man and a woman had did it to him. Now, why did God why did I not only have to be victimized in such a heinous way, right? But why did it put the spirit of honesty on them to tell me why they did it? As though it's justification. As though it's justification as to why you're doing it.
No, it's called narcissism.
You know?
That's just narcissistic. Did you know that narcissistic people don't lie? They tell the straight, it's like, that's the abuse talking. That's the trauma talking. You know what I'm saying? Because God don't let nothing slip up on his people. That was truth you didn't have to search for.
Right.
He exposed his own demon by telling you, by being honest, he exposed a little boy that was traumatized. So thank you, and keep telling your truth.
And so, Will, ma'am, I have a phrase that I say I live out loud, and I have it written on everything on purpose. I live out loud because I was silenced for so long.
Now this the kind of stuff make the devil mad, but we ain't sorry. We don't care nothing about that.
The devil pissed at me.
Well, that would be you and many other survivors that are smiling and grinning and standing tall. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Reveal and Heal Live, and you know, my motto is you can't heal what you won't reveal. You can walk around and you can just be any character that you choose to be. You can walk around and you can take claim to whatever storyline you want to be. But if you are not addressing your pain, if you are not addressing your trauma, you are living a lie. I'm Coach Debb. Remember to love yourself, love everybody, and be an example. Have an amazing day. You deserve it.
We matter too. Representation matters. The plus size community championed and ushered in this wave of self-acceptance.
Being a G, as I am, I know how to keep my man. Yours too. Anyway, but Zane is popping.
So they took the bottom part of my stomach to reconstruct my breast.
Gotcha.
Tell all.
Yeah.
But what happened was, about 27 years old, I had just had enough, okay? I had enough of the cheating, because the last guy that I was with, I always told myself I didn't want to be with anybody who cheated, because with my mom, she would take in all these people and bring them into her house with their 6 kids. And my dad, being an alcoholic and very promiscuous, she would go to work. I'd see her go out the front door, and her friends that she'd bring into the house and take care of their children and feed them and everything. That woman was walking past me holding my father's hand, going into the bedroom, having sex with my father while I was sitting on the couch.
We matter too. Representation matters. The plus size community championed and ushered in this wave of self-acceptance.
Being a G, as I am, I know how to keep my man. Yours too. Anyway, but Zane is popping.
So they took the bottom part of my stomach to reconstruct my breast.
Gotcha.
Tell all.
Yeah.
But what happened was, about 27 years old, I had just had enough, okay? I had enough of the cheating, because the last guy that I was with, I always told myself I didn't want to be with anybody who cheated, because with my mom, she would take in all these people and bring them into her house with their 6 kids. And my dad, being an alcoholic and very promiscuous, she would go to work. I'd see her go out the front door, and her friends that she'd bring into the house and take care of their children and feed them and everything. That woman was walking past me holding my father's hand, going into the bedroom, having sex with my father while I was sitting on the couch.